What is something that poor people love to have but rich people hate to have? Walmarts in the neighborhood. They attract low-income people and rich people don't want that demographic in their area. The city I lived in had a development deal with Costco to build a store. A bunch of NIMBY Karens lost their minds about it and started shitting on the deal in city council meetings. Costco said, "Fine, we don't build where we aren't wanted." Sold the land to Walmart for a tidy profit. Walmart didn't give a shit about complaints and the land was already zoned for big box retail. The small town I lived in had a regular Walmart since 1983. It was a godsend for a small town with a dying economy and pitiful small businesses that were closing. Flash forward to 2018 and Walmart buys and develops a huge plot of land for a WM supercenter. Somehow the right people in town complained and our city council shut down WM's plans for the new store. Walmart's response: "Fuck you. We're shutting down the existing store." Countless jobs and tax revenue lost, and now we have to drive 30 minutes away for every little thing that we could always get for a great price at Walmart. You don't fuck with Walmart. You don't fuck with large corporations, period. Look at what AMC is doing to Universal right now. Put your movie on demand for people during quarantine. Fuck it, we won't show your movies at our theaters anymore. Also, there are multiple articles on how Walmart is able to keep such low prices. They bully the fuck out of smaller companies than them to sell them inventory for pennies. I feel like AMC is fucking up with that decision. Theaters are already hemorrhaging money. Their taxes filed. Leftovers. I stayed a week with a friend from college at his parents' house. His dad is a dentist and his mom works somewhere. I don't remember. They had a guest house down the hill from their regular house that was twice as big as the house my family of 6 lived in at the time. He took me out for lunch one day and I got a to-go box for my leftovers. He got a box too, but threw it away as soon as we got home. I couldn't understand it. My family never threw away food. A weekend off, as in, where you do nothing. Rich people act like it's a massive waste of time and practically a crime if you don't schedule a ski trip or some fucking thing. But poor people are usually relieved not to work and happy to stay home and recover or hang with friends. Exactly. Poor people don't mind sitting at home all day and watching TV, playing video games, reading a good book, etc. If you ask a very specific 35% to 40% of this country, the USA, they will, no joke, tell you, taxes. Babies. There is an inverse correlation between affluence and fertility rate. That might say more about sex education and the availability of contraception than actual desires for children. Or in countries where you can get housing, welfare for just having a kid or for. In England we teach sex ed and free contraception of all kinds to anyone. Still got a lot of poor people having kids. Friends. My good friend's grandfather isolated himself after he became rich. If I was rich I'd do the same thing. Only reason I associate with people is that I have to for my job. If I could lock myself away in a mansion and never talk to anyone again I would. 2028. Your wish is my command. I hate to say it, but being quarantined is the best thing that ever happened to me. My mental, physical, and emotional health are the best they've ever been. I always dreamed about winning the lottery and having time to take care of myself. I know I have to go back soon, but I hated the old normal. A real job. Walmart. As someone who grew up in an extremely rich part of town, then I moved out to a mediocre area, I can adamantly say Walmart attracts the lowest of the low in people. Right, dude in the thread said. The city I lived in had a development deal with Costco to build a store. A bunch of NIMBY Karens lost their minds about it and started shitting on the deal in city council meetings. Costco said, "Fine, we don't build where we aren't wanted." Sold the land to Walmart for a tidy profit. Walmart didn't give a shit about complaints and the land was already zoned for big box retail. Hash shit. Costco was too trashy for the Karen squad. Costco said, boo, then, and sold the land to Walmart. Karen squad probably complained. Walmart probably lolled. $10K in their bank account. I was going to say $100 left over at the end of the month. Fame and notoriety. It seems like every poor person wants to be famous. But the truly wealthy try and fly under the radar. I'd rather be rich than famous. Every poor person doesn't necessarily want fame specifically. They want a way out. Fame just seems the easiest way. Do something cool that doesn't require a lot of higher education, a string of good opportunities, connections, or significant monetary investment. Then happen to have a ton of people to see it. Rinse and repeat until being invited, included in events for famous people like interviews or collabs. It all seems pretty simple. Just a last-ditch effort. But one that seems more probable to work than like getting a lotto ticket. And I'd say rich people don't want that, because to be famous for doing something in this day and age basically puts everything else in your life on hold, while adding another huge hectic stressor. And more importantly, assuming they're not spoiled heirs, they probably have a better appreciation for financial security. And they know that it's extremely difficult to maintain financial gain from fame. Unless they're a glutton for attention, there's not much advantage to trying to be famous for them. It's just another thing to deal with. Also, if their success didn't happen through honest means, then being put under a microscope by the public and media is also risky. A regular, reliable vehicle. The richest guy the first know daily drives an old-ass beat-to-shit Land Rover pickup truck, but it runs good, so he doesn't feel the need to replace it. Probably why he's rich with that kind of attitude. I heard Warren Buffett drives an old piece of shit and still lives in the same modest home he has since forever. Warren Buffett still lived in his nice house. Not a mansion, but not small. The last time I heard, that was a few years ago. I think he bought it in the 60s or early 70s. From my reading, his last two cars have been Toyota Avalons. By no means a mega wealthy person type car, but it ain't a poss beater either. Lots of spare change. $100 bills. I personally find them too inconvenient. But I've noticed that if a low-income person has $100, he wants it to be in the largest bill possible. And he wants people to see it. Socialism. Rich people love socialism, but only for the wealthy. Personal debt. Debt is a poor person's game. And we see it as a way to have the things we want without having to wait until we can afford them. Monsieur. Rich people often have lots of debt. Even if they have the cash, they will usually do loans if they can get a good interest rate. An example. The stock market traditionally increases in value at about 5% a year. If you can get a long-term loan for less than 5% interest, you will make more money leaving your money in the stock market and using the loan than you would save by paying cash. You'd be surprised how many people who seem to be well-to-do are actually up to their eyeballs in debt. Granted, that disqualifies them as rich in my book, but regardless, appearances mean jack in regards to wealth. Learned that lesson the hard way in auto sales. I would not be surprised. What's the quote? It's only when the tide goes out do you see who is skinny dipping. I think we're going to see a lot of people were naked financially as the economy continues to erode because of the quarantine. Movies have taught me that poor people drink cheap beer and rich people drink pretty much anything else. Ooh, till I'm rich. Neighbors. I help around a gated community and most folks barely know each other's names while the homes are within 20 feet of one another. Well, I'm broke AF and would love to not I have neighbors. Hand-me-down clothes. Hell yes, I love me some handed-down clothes. Ark and Salvation Army are my places to shop for everything. Need a costume? Go to the Ark and make one. Need nice office clothes? Salvation Army has your back. Guillotines. Newport 100 malt liquor, children out of wedlock, meth parties, Kraft macaroni and cheese, If the bare-naked ladies are to be trusted, rich people just eat more of it. A bank balance of $100,000. Peanut butter and oatmeal as staple items. Fame. A job. Equally enforced rights and having to follow the law. Why is nobody upvoting this? Parents. Some of them monsieur. Cheap liquor. Poor friends. Change. When you work fast food and they tip their change. Canned sardines in tomato sauce. Free time. Car parts on their lawn. Children. Minimum wage job. Money. Velveeta cheese. Word friend. I make some bomb cheese dip with Velveeta cheese. Broken, can't stand this stuff. Politicians who promise free things. Rented furniture. COVID-19. Damn it. Too early. I'll downvote myself and leave. Revolution. Hell yay. Rats. Poor people will eat anything. A job. Children. A 2019 Mercedes KD Mac N. Something that resembles what might have been cheese at some point. But once you make the real stuff, you will never go back to that crap. Money. Poor people need it, and rich people hate having people ask for money. Used cars. Aluminum cans to recycle. Debt. Poor people love to have debt. Malt liquor. Food. Money sat in a 0.01% interest savings account. Kids. Coupons. Free time. Grills. A big house apparently. An abundance of kids. Black tar heroin. I don't know. I've known my fair share of wealthy heroin users. Overdoses don't discriminate based on wealth. I more meant because the rich would definitely be using white china. Appreciate the little things in life. People better off that are generous. Top ramen. Super cheap but super salty. Cheap liquor. McDonald's. I'm not saying all poor people love McDonald's, but I guarantee almost every rich person you come across will say they dislike it as some sort of power move to impress people. You do realize McDonald's is low quality, right? I'm not saying wealthy people only want to eat oysters and such. But there are much better burgers and fries than McDonald's. Why would you really ever want to eat McDonald's as opposed to spending $20 on a much better burger? Yeah, I get that it's definitely not fine dining. But it's the repulsion to it that is just kinda evident. It's more about the denouncement of food that is not overpriced. McDonald's food sucks. I've never really liked it ever. Even when I was a kid. I grew up dirt poor. Public housing. Single mom, all that jazz. Would rather go to Wendy's and order off the dollar menu any day. Now I have a good job and solid money. Still go to Wendy's all the time. Find me better fries and nuggets. I'm well-to-do, and I love my Big Mac trio with some nuggets. No one I know with money says McD's doesn't taste good. Only the people who pretend to have money do. So they seem upper class because it's low class to eat at McD's. My friend always gets looks when he pulls up in his Aventador there. McD's tastes awesome. Non-flammable cladding. Shocked face. Jobs. Fame. Overtime. Are just a job. Cash. Free time. Relatives. A small house. Middle-class relatives. Children. A soul. Fast food. Just fast food. I don't know. Taco Bell. I feel like free time is a good response. More money. Mobile homes. Attention. A gun. Money. A washing machine. Patience. Change. Annual Metro Pass. Family. A life. Garden and pool. Economy flights. Chinese all-you-can-eat buffets. Souls. Unions. Human empathy. $22. Sex in someone else's car. Respect for other human beings. A stable 9-to-5 wage job. The truly rich people that I know work for themselves. Their time is too valuable to spend 40 hours a week helping another person get rich in return for a salary. The irony is, they usually end up working way over 40 hours a week. But they by and large enjoy it. You don't get rich working 9 to 5. Money. Having a lot of clothes. Payday loans, apparently. I used to ride horses for this lady whose husband is a shipping magnate in Greece. Billionaires. And I noticed that all the tack for her horses was customized but very plain and completely without branding. Her husband doesn't officially sponsor her, so they don't put his logos or their names on much of anything related to the horses. It's all very premium and good quality tack, but some of it hardly matches, and only her own personal horses got the pretty stuff. The rest of them looked kind of underdressed, to be honest. But then if you look at amateur riders, they typically dress up their horses in glittery and very colorful ensembles for shows. They care a lot about everything matching and about which logos are visible, etc. So basically the richest of the rich horse owners like their horses to look very low-key and classically styled for shows. Most high-level competition riders still ride in sponsored outfits, but this owner was so rich that her rider didn't wear any labeled sponsor wear and just wore exactly what she bought for him. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.